All right. Lewis Pugh has asked for an opportunity to give a presentation of his own. That opportunity is now being presented. And then we'll come back to
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much for giving me the opportunity to address you this evening. My name is Lewis Pugh. This evening, I want to take you back to the early 1990s in this country. You may remember them very well. Nelson Mandela had been released, and there was euphoria in the air. However, there was also widespread violence and deep fear. This country was teetering on the brink of a civil war. But somehow we averted it. It was a miracle. And it happened because we had incredible leaders. Leaders who sought calm, leaders who had vision. So in spite of all the violence, they sat down and they negotiated a new constitution. I will never ever forget holding this constitution in my hands for the first time. I was a young law student at the University of Cape Town. This was a cement that brought peace to our land. This was a document which held our country together. The rights contained herein made us one. I remember thinking to myself, never again will the rights of South Africans be trampled upon. Now, every one of us, every man and every woman, black, white, coloured, Indian, believer, non-believer, has the right to vote. We all have the right to life, and our children have the right to a basic education. These rights are enshrined in our Constitution. These rights were the dreams of Oliver Tambo. These rights were the dreams of Nelson Mandela. These rights were the dreams of Mahatma Gandhi, of Desmond Tutu, and of Molly Blackburn. These were our dreams. People fought and died so that we could enjoy these rights today. And also enshrined in our Constitution is the right to a healthy environment and the right to water. Our Constitution states that we have the right to have our environment protected for the benefit of our generation and for the benefit of future generations. Fellow South Africans, let us not dishonour those rights. Let us not dishonour those men and women who fought and died for those rights. Let us not allow corporate greed to disrespect our Constitution. Let us not allow them to desecrate our environment. Never ever did I think that there would be a debate in this country, in this arid country, about what was more important, gas or water. We can survive without gas. We cannot live without water.
Yes.
If we damage our limited water supply, and fracking will do just that, we will have a conflict again here in South Africa. Look around the world, wherever you damage the environment, you have conflict. Fellow South Africans, We have had enough conflict in our land. Now is the time for peace. A few months ago, I gave a speech with the former president of Costa Rica. Afterwards, I asked him, Mr. President, how do you balance the demands of development against the need to protect the environment? And he looked at me and he said, it's not a balancing act. It's a simple business decision. If we cut down our forests in Costa Rica to satisfy a timber company, what will be left for our future? But he pointed out, it is also a moral decision. It would be morally wrong to chop down our forests and leave nothing for our children and our grandchildren. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what is at stake here today. Our children's future and our children's children's future. There may be gas beneath our ground in the Karoo, but are we prepared to destroy our environment for 5 to 10 years worth of fossil fuel and damage our climate further? No. Yes, people will be employed, but for a short while. And when the drilling is over and Shell have packed up their bags and disappeared, then what? Who will be there to clean up? And what jobs will our children be able to etch out? Now, Shell will tell you that their intentions are honourable, that fracking in the Karoo will not damage our environment, that they will not contaminate our precious water, that they will bring jobs to South Africa, that gas is clean and green, and that they will help secure our energy supplies. When I hear this, I have one burning question. Why should we trust them? Yeah. Africa is to Shell what the Gulf of Mexico was to BP. Shell, you have a shocking record here in Africa. Shell, you have a shocking record here in Africa. Just look at your operations in Nigeria. You have spilt more than 9 million barrels of crude oil into the Niger Delta. That's twice the amount of oil that BP spilt into the Gulf of Mexico. You were found guilty of bribing Nigerian officials, and to make the case go away in America, you paid an admission of guilt fine of $48 million US. And to top it all, you stand accused of being complicit in the execution of Nigeria's leading environmental campaigner, Ken Saro-Wiwa. You stand accused of being complicit in the execution of Nigeria's leading environmental campaigner, Ken Saro-Wiwa, and 8 other activists. If you were innocent, why did you pay $15.5 million US to the widows and children to settle the case out of court? Shell, the path you want to take us down is not sustainable. I have visited the Arctic for the last 7 summers in a row. I have seen the tundra thawing, I have seen the retreating glaciers, and I have seen the melting sea ice. And I have seen the impact of global warming from the Himalayas all the way down to the low-lying islands in the Maldives. Wherever I go, I see it. Now is the time for change. We cannot drill our way out of an energy crisis. The era of fossil fuels is over. We must invest in renewable energy, and we must
take that sign off the wall, because if you're being filmed on TV, it looks like you're supporting Shell. They take that slide off, please.
we must invest in renewable energy, and we must not delay. Shell, we look to the north of this continent and we see how people got tired of political tyranny. We have watched as despots who have ruled ruthlessly year after year have been toppled in the matter of weeks. We, too, are tired. Tired of corporate tyranny, tired of your short-term unsustainable practices. We watched as Dr. Ian Player, a game ranger from Natal, and his friends took on Rio Tinto, one of the biggest mining companies on this earth, and won. And we watched as young activists from across Europe brought you down to your knees when you tried to dump an enormous oil rig into the North Sea. Shell, we do not want our Karoo to be another Niger Delta. Do not underestimate us. Goliath can be brought down. We are proud of what we have achieved in this young democracy, and we are not about to let your company come in and destroy us. So let this be a call to arms to everybody across South Africa who is sitting in the shadow of Goliath. Stand up and demand these fundamental human rights promised to you in this Constitution. Use your voices, tweet, blog, petition, rally the weight of your neighbours and of people in power. Let us speak from every hilltop. Let us not go quietly into a bleak future. Let me end off by just saying this. You have lit a fire in our bellies which no man and no woman can extinguish. And if we need to, we will take this fight all the way from your petrol pumps to the very highest court in this land. We will take this fight from the We will take this fight from the farms and towns in the Karoo to the streets of London and Amsterdam, and we will take this fight to every one of your shareholders, and I have no doubt whatsoever, that in the end, good will triumph over evil. Yes.